let's dive into Superman box office numbers. Okay. We talked about last week how, the reviews when like early reviews before the movie actually came out fully, and the thoughts and what people are feeling. But one of the things that we are learning due to this thing, I want you to remember, critics do not necessarily represent the greater public. And this is also proof of that, because Superman, this box office weekend, they did pretty well numbers wise. We have, and this is off of the Rotten Tomatoes website, their article talking about the Superman box office weekend. But it says weekend box office, Superman takes flight with $122 million debut. Okay. So they, despite the reviews that it had last week, right now it's at 122 million debut. I believe that's domestic, because when I look at the final numbers, Superman 2025 has made an additional 95 million on the international side for a current total of $217 million. Man of Steel, I believe, finished its run domestically, 291 million domestic, and that's finishing its run, not box office. So finishing its run, it did 291 domestic and 668 worldwide, $1 million worldwide. And this movie 2025 is well on track to beat Man of Steel numbers, at least domestically. Because if in one weekend you have gotten to 122 million in one weekend, I imagine you potentially will do even greater, because I believe that Man of Steel, hold on, started with 116 and we're at 122. Yeah, it started with 116 million box office weekend, and then 2025 is at 122. Superman 2025 is already doing a lot better than Man of Steel. How do we feel about that? You said I watched it yesterday. ET says I watched it yesterday. It was pretty good. It was the reason why I was late. Oh, to the live. Oh, okay. Some people are mad about Superman because it's anti-Israel. Is it? Is it really? I just assumed critics are like corporations just want money. I feel like, yes, I do feel like that when it comes to critics, and this is something that I've definitely seen a bunch of times in the industry, where some people just jump on a train and just toot toot the horn of the train. So if everybody on the train is like, hey, let's bash Ironheart because we don't like black people, whatever the reason is, then everybody's like, yeah, it sucks. Whereas, and this was me just using Ironheart's name as an example, that people riding on a train, Ironheart's experience was not exactly like that, although it was, and then it wasn't, it was definitely with the people that were booing it up at the forefront, right? And then only later having a lot of people actually give legitimate reviews. And then some who were still in their bias, but their criticisms were, but that's beside the point. The point is that the criticdom, as we'll just call it, the criticdom does not one-on-one represent the grander audience, the grander public, the grander idea, and some critics are tied to media companies, which is very true. So whatever narrative that is being pushed, it is their job to continue to push it. So I feel like there are some people that actually do give fair criticisms and fairly critique entertainment properties and products and things like that. But to your point, I do feel like some are that corporate money grinding mindset and some are legitimate criticisms. I'll say that. ET and people didn't like ET says people didn't like how James Gunn called Superman an immigrant. Oh, he did. Oh, and some people didn't like that. Well, he is. You know, he's a space immigrant. He migrated through space to the world, to Earth. Okay. So he for sure is, you know. Sarasa says, also with Agatha all along, people hate on it and claim no one asked for this, but it became one of the best shows Marvel put out. Yeah, so that's more of a point because I still haven't seen Agatha all along. I do need to watch it. It's on the list to react to. But I do feel like, again, the critics do not represent the greater public. It's crazy how there can be a certain tune that they sing, but then when the public gets their hands on this property or on this movie, TV show, game, book, whatever it may be, there's a whole different song that's sung, you know? And then, I want you to pay attention. Now that we're talking about this, I want you to pay attention because me and hubby talk about this a lot. He points it out more than I point it out, but I do see it where, let's say, before something came out or before the public gets their hands on it, you hear people say, oh, this is trash, this is garbage, this is the worst thing ever. Then the public watches it and you hear the public's opinion or you hear their thoughts, you see their reviews. And then some of those same people will be like, yeah, actually, I didn't think it was that bad. Well, huh? Were you saying it was bad on the forend because everybody else was saying it was bad? Or did you really not like it and lie and say it's okay just because people really liked it? Keep your eyes peeled. There are some people who have done that repeatedly. And they just, when they're more candid, oh, it was okay. Or, oh, I really liked it. Well, then why'd you say this earlier? It didn't make no sense. That don't make no sense. They judge way too quickly before giving it a chance. Very true. Very, very true. I think that does happen quite a bit. I do wonder what this spells for, Gunn's DC. Is it even DCEU anymore? We'll just call it James Gunn's DC. That's what we'll call it, because I don't know what it is anymore, because I know they have the other worlds and all sorts of stuff, or DC Extended Universe. Is that what they're calling? I don't know. Anyways, I wonder how this spells for his DC that he's creating and nurturing, because for this movie to do already better domestically than Man of Steel's first run at the beginning, is this gonna be like, is everything else gonna have this similar tone? Although I still have yet to see it, but I'm just talking about how does this pan out, the plan that they continue to build on with ET says it's DC or DCU with the DCU. How are they gonna continue to weave that? What are the storylines going to be? What are they going to continue and keep versus letting go? Because remember, DC is under Warner Brothers, which is under, they have a corporate, company that they're under as well. So when you think of a lot of cuts that are being made, things being canceled, there's been like such a rush of projects being canceled left and right. Okay. Or even, I still remember the Batgirl situation where that movie was finished. They were like, yeah, we're not putting it out, right? And then the money wasted from changing HBO to HBO Max, then removing HBO and just calling it Max, and then returning HBO and calling it HBO Max, the amount of money they have wasted just in that marketing alone, I do feel like there are a lot of threads to the potential tapestry that will come forth in the DCU going forward. And I am interested to see how's it going to go down. Okay. I don't want to say, oh, I can't wait to see this movie, because it's not the case at all. Superman is not one of my favorites, and the Man of Steel arc definitely reduced that even more so. But I am interested in seeing the movie. I am open to seeing this movie and seeing how it was and all the stuff, you know? You say as long as it's not original animation, all the DG projects should be good to go. Right. Which is sad. Like, because a lot of animation, when you think of the stuff going on with Cartoon Network and shows, like even the weird thing about Gumball and who has the rights to Gumball and what's going on. What's happening? You know? But yes, it is live action, so their live action stuff should be good. I wonder how do they have any more DC animation projects coming down the pipeline? Because one of the things I would always hear people say, how DC's animations and animated projects were always better than Marvel animated projects. So it's always been the consensus for years. Is that going to still be the case? Okay. Is that still going to be the case? I wonder. If it's DC brand animation and live action, it's good. Okay. We should see if it's good and won't be removed. I will wait to see. My friend saw it and enjoyed it. I think I would go see it, especially when people were criticizing Hot Girl. I'd have to watch the movie, and I'm open to watching the movie. I just have to see if I'm liquid enough to watch the movie, because I also need to go grocery shopping. So, it's one of those things that I'll probably wait till it comes to streaming to watch it. When it'll have to go to HBO Max, I'm assuming, you know. So when that happens, I'll watch it, unless something happens and I have the opportunity to watch it before that time. But let me know your thoughts, okay? What do you think about the success of Superman despite the criticisms, you know, and how the movie was doing and how the box office? Do you think that it's going to pass Man of Steel? Do you really think so? I think it might. Let me know what you think.